What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Future of Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Ellis Hammond. And you ever heard of the Aspen coin? It was one of the first kind of digital tokens and pieces of real estate that was put onto the blockchain and sold as tokens, and they could own, essentially this really iconic hotel in Aspen, Colorado. Well, today I have the founder of Liberty Real Estate Fund, Michael Flight, and his colleague Adam Carswell. He really founded the first tokenized real estate fund for triple net lease. He's a blockchain evangelist, self-proclaimed, and is really leading this movement and leading this charge with a fascinating conversation about what he thinks once we're able to put real estate on the blockchain and the amount of buyers that are going to be able to come into this space, what he thinks that's going to do to revolutionize this industry. Always a fascinating conversation with Michael. I really enjoyed this episode. I think if you're a real estate investor or want to know about the future of real estate and what it's going to look like, you're definitely going to want to tune in for this show. Let's get into it.
All right.
Michael, Adam, welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, Ellis, thanks for inviting us on. We're just getting the gang together.
Happy to be here.
Really fun to have you both here. Two of my favorite people. Let's do some quick. I mean, I've already read your bio. I don't have to get into your bio as much, but I would like for both of you to make an introduction. And I'm really looking forward to this show because we're talking about the real estate blockchain. Guys, Michael's one of the pioneers of this. Here's my first question for you, Michael, before you introduce yourself. Are you young in nature, or do you just surround yourself with enough young people to stay young? Because, how do I say this nicely, man? You're one of the most youngest old guys I know. Is that fair to say?
Start out right away calling me an old guy. So, you know what? I really don't know. I've always just been interested in new things, exciting things. I've always surrounded myself with both older and younger people. And a lot of the older people, have given me, great ideas. And I just really, I got to tell you, I get energy. Most of the people that I work with are all under 36. And I just get so much energy from those people. And it's really, when people talk about like kids these days and, sitting on a couch and they're still in their mother's basement and stuff, the people that I am meeting in real estate, they're all like self-motivated. They're, we used to work with a guy, Timmy, who was an intern with us. And, Timmy has already read like the 10 most, I'm asking him, which books he's read. And he's like, oh, like the Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, boom, boom, boom. And this was when he's still in college. I'm like, well, that was like, way more work than I was doing in college.
Right. No, I think I'm totally, that's why I love this industry. I think it's because real estate, I feel like is the last, like if you don't come from Ivy League or you don't, maybe that, like you could still make it in real estate. And I think it attracts a hungry, young, ambitious person like me. I mean, I'm a great story of that too. So real quick, Michael, give us just a couple highlights.
One more to that. Crypto is now the new thing. So you can do crypto and real estate. If you've got no connections or whatever, and it's an easier entry point.
Well, part of the point of this show, absolutely. Yeah. I found the two things that maybe I can excel in. But how about just a quick bio, Michael, just in this real estate space, so folks can hear from you personally.
Sure. I've been in the real estate business since 1986, since I graduated from college. We founded our company in 1990. We specialized in shopping centers, retail real estate. So we've done everything from single tenant, triple net lease properties, leased to major national tenants like Walgreens, McDonald's, and those type of things, all the way on up to 900,000 square foot malls. We've actually demalled 3 malls, which means that you knock them down and build something else in their place. We have specialized in a lot of value add real estate. And I've also had an eclectic career where, owned apartment buildings, flipped, more than 150 houses with a, realtor broker friend of mine. and just done workouts for banks. And we've been through, now this is our fourth recession. So I always like to let our investors and our bankers know that it's not our first rodeo. It's not our second rodeo. We're going on number 5 next time.
Wow. Adam, what's up, man?
I'm honored to be here. Few things Michael mentioned there that was just jogging my memory. One of the first times I really got to spend some quality time with Michael was the same time that I believe I first met you, which was at Intelligent Investors Real Estate Conference 2018. And we're talking about, the power of leveraging your network and communicating to get to the next level faster than traditional education. And again, you're like the prime example of that from when I first shook your hand to seeing to like where you're at now with not only your business, now this podcast, like so many things you're working on. So it's cool to watch your journey along with mine. And then, I remember when I first started working with Michael, we met at Freedom Fest, which is a conference in Vegas in 2018 after Hunter introduced us. And then I saw him again at the one that I just mentioned. And around that time when I saw Michael, it was November, probably 2018, I mentioned to Hunter, I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to be doing some work with Michael Flight. And I'll just never forget Hunter saying to me, that guy's really smart.
He didn't know me well at the time, but anyways.
Guys, let's turn, because I want to make the most of our time, and I know our listeners, and I'm very much interested in the real estate blockchain. And Michael, you are a pioneer in this space, and the first triple net lease fund on the blockchain. Let's start from the beginning though, man. And I know there's a lot of information on the internet about this, but explain how you explain to investors what is the blockchain. Like, let's just start. What is the blockchain?
Well, I always say that the blockchain is just like the internet is a way for instantaneous worldwide communication. Anywhere in the world, you can send a message. And it basically, when I started out in real estate, you had to pay for a long distance and everything. And the internet just brought everything down to zero. Well, with blockchain, it's instantaneous value transfer anywhere in the world. So you can send money, you can send assets, and you can send things of value instantaneously. You're right now in San Diego. Sometimes Adam's, in Newfoundland. Now he's in Florida. If I wanted to send you money, if I wanted to send you a Bitcoin, you would have it, and you'd have confirmation of it within an hour. On other blockchains, if I wanted to send you money, you'd have confirmation that it's there immediately. If I got to go through PayPal or a bank or anything like that, it takes days to clear.
Yeah.
So
we deal with all the time in real estate.
Yeah. And the other thing is that the blockchain disintermediates, central banks, and all the rest of that stuff, so that you can go through a bank, but you can also go person to person, which gives you really true freedom. And I'm all about freedom. And I always tell people financial freedom is above personal freedom. You need to have financial freedom in order for you to really implement your personal freedom.
Yeah, clip that quote. Wow, that's powerful. So I would love to hear from both of you guys. Okay, that's a great explanation. Why do you think then it's so crucial? You describe yourself, Michael, as a blockchain real estate evangelist. I was an evangelist by trade for many years. Why is this so important for real estate? Would love to hear from both of you guys on this.
Let's let Adam answer that first.
I was going to say, I know Michael's also been referred to as a blockchain enthusiast as well. But yeah, I mean, why I think just to restate your question to make sure we're hitting it here, Alice, is, why is this important to real estate? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, real estate has been something forever that's been very, I guess you could say centralized in ownership, or at least for the past 100 years or so. And so now we're entering into a world where, literally just hopped off an interview talking to some up and coming real estate entrepreneurs who want to tokenize their asset. And they're like, look, we want to create something that, for the first time in a while, our peers, because they're in the college rage. If their friend has $200, they want them to experience what it's like owning real estate and benefiting from those types of returns in a world that doesn't allow for that to happen, which is kind of absurd, because people wonder why the rich keep getting richer and, middle class or lower class stay where they're at. It's because of these rules and regulations by the SEC that just don't allow for that to happen. And so thankfully, it's kind of, I just like to look at what blockchain is doing to disrupt the world at large, really, is, whoever's controlling this beast, if there's a crack in the dam, imagine someone run over trying to like plug that hole up, and then they look over like further down, and then there's another crack in the water shooting out. Like eventually there's just going to be so many cracks in this dam that the whole floodgates are just going to bust open. And that's kind of what we're already starting to see in real estate in regards to typical, say, average Americans and people around the world being able to get access to some of these returns and benefits of real estate that they haven't been able to for a while. So that's like what I would say about what's coming and what's already happening with blockchain and real estate.
Yeah, and that was just an excellent point. I'd like to supplement it with real estate is an asset class. What they don't tell you, the stockbrokers always, say that real estate is an alternative asset class. Well, real estate was one of the, and it still is one of the original asset classes. So aside from commodities, real estate, is the original asset class. It's got thousands of years of history. It's, proven over and over again. And then real estate is the world's largest asset class. It's $280 trillion. And everybody in their life, every day of their life, touches some point of real estate. But real estate also has constrictions. It's really cumbersome to buy. You need a lot of money to buy it. It's really tough to get into and out of. Blockchain is just going to improve the entire ownership experience, where you can, at some point in all these countries in Africa, South America, Asia, they're going to be able to actually, put their show title in their real estate that they have on the chain, and then they could actually use that for leverage. So let's say, you're a farmer in, Ghana or Djibouti or something like that. You want to, take what you own, your little piece of real estate. Right now, it's very cumbersome to use that as collateral. But if it's on the blockchain and you've got, legitimate title and everything, you're going to have like people from all over the world where this money is just looking for a return flow to places where there is return. So I think it's really just going to open up a new human flourishing for people that actually, not only invest in real estate, but also utilize the real estate that they have now, or just, make the claim for their real estate so that they can prove that they have this real estate.
That's interesting, Michael. Well, let me clarify that point real quick, because what I always thought like blockchain technology, and I want to ask a question about valuations here in the US, but you're making the point that this could also change the real estate landscape for countries all over the world, because people can now look for opportunities, yield, return outside of
the biggest,
US.
The US is great and it's a great market, but the biggest human flourishing that's going to take place, just like, billions of people came out of poverty since 1990, using the free enterprise system and capitalism. There's going to be billions of people lifted up, and they're now into the middle class, and they're going to be looking for assets to preserve and generate, that not only preserve their wealth, but generate wealth and then transfer their wealth. And, when you combine real estate with blockchain, you get the best possible way to effectively, people can generate wealth, people can preserve their wealth, and people can transfer their wealth. And it's going to be super huge for the rest of the world.
Wow. Powerful. Let me ask you this: how does this impact to the LP, right? To the limited partner, to the passive investor? You started this. You put your fund on the blockchain. I mean, why is this significant for someone investing in real estate? Not necessarily the syndicator or the active manager, but the passive investor. And then I want to follow up and ask you the question. Might as well ask you both. Like, what do you think this does to valuations?
Okay, I'll say a little bit about that, and then I'll hand it over to Adam. I think the tokenization and taking a normal syndication share, which is locked up for anywhere from 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 years. And I've had experience where my father invested in a syndication in 1985. The next year he died. And so my mother's been stuck in a syndication that she couldn't get out of, and that never made any money. It just held my father's money there. for, close to 40 years. The thing finally went into foreclosure in 2020. And so she ended up with all kinds of, so like I said, this is also a personal thing for me, because this is going to create liquidity and also investor options for the investors. And, Adam, tell me what's your take on it? Because
Adam, do you think that ultimately drives? I mean, I know you hang around Hunter, who believes cap rates are going to, who knows, negative something. But I mean, do you think this really drives valuations, like maybe over time, 20, 30 years? But what about the next 5? Do we see? Does this have a significant impact on real estate valuations here in the U.S.?
It's a fantastic question, and it's one of those questions where you can give an answer and go deep on any direction you want to go, right? Like, we really don't know. One thing coming to mind for me, I wanted to drop it before I forgot, though, is we are talking about just, I think the liquidity piece that Michael talked about and how that's going to change things. I dropped it in our chat here. If you want to check it out later, potentially share it with the audience. We just did, and Michael and I on our podcast just talked about this a little bit. But yeah, as far as valuations, to be completely honest, I don't see it necessarily changing, what's going to happen, whether blockchain impacts the sector or not. The only change that I really see is what Michael's talking about, which is the liquidity piece. It's going to give investors an opportunity to potentially, exit a deal on their terms sooner than what we've traditionally seen. And I think it's going to happen. For a while I've been saying, tokenized deals, it's something where I feel like it's going to be an industry standard maybe the next 5 to 10 years. I can't say the individual's name, but I'll put it this way: someone who's just literally, I'd say, built a reputation within our sector as like one of the top passive investors, like super, super conservative with like a lot of his thought process. Like, when you thought you could be conservative, then there's this guy. And I've had a couple conversations with him where he thinks that this is going to happen within the next 1 to 2 years. He's ready to dive in. And it seems like he's going to be, as soon as this individual, I can't say his name, if you want to maybe find out later, hit me up after the show.
I know
but he's,
I already know.
You know who I'm
I
talking
know,
about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, let's not keep the secrets. Let's just keep moving along here.
Okay. It's coming soon is what I'm saying. It's coming much sooner than I thought.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Okay.
And I think it will be one of those things, as Michael says, is more people understand the blockchain and realize because right now there's more skepticism about it than there is trust. When that transfer of trust shifts, it will be the standard in the sense that, why are you not on the blockchain? Because this gives so much transparency to everything about the deal. It almost would be like, well, you don't have a website? Like,
yeah. Well, can I follow up with your question? Because I do think that if you're bringing all kinds of new investors into a place where they normally couldn't get to, because let's face it, institutional quality properties, you have to be an accredited investor to get into it. Right. So if you could like reduce the minimum. So Adam and I know some guys out of Florida. They're called Realty.co. And those guys are buying like small single family houses in Detroit, the south side of Chicago. And on a $70,000 investment, they've got 400 investors in it that are investing like, $20 a piece, $200 a piece. So it's going to just expand the universe, and it's going to bring in, additional capital that wasn't there. So I truly believe that it's going to be good for the real estate industry. And it's also, people didn't have the option to get into nice, stable real estate. So, everybody just shoves them into like an index fund or something like that. I think that it's like, instead of keeping your money in the bank, instead of keeping your money, you're going to be able to buy, not only cryptocurrency, but also, real estate. And then the other thing that I wanted to address with you, Ellis, is I don't think people even have to understand the blockchain. I think the way that the blockchain is going to get adoption is when they don't see the blockchain, they just see a easy to use interface, and they have a wallet app on their phone, and they just say, oh, I want to buy $20 of that building in Chicago. I want to buy $30 of that building in San Diego. Boom, I want to buy, something in London or even something in, Moscow, Russia.
So, but here's the problem, Michael, and maybe I'm jumping ahead to flow of this, but I don't care. I'm doing the show for me anyways. I hear you, but what I see right now is everyone's trying to create their own blockchain. So am I going to have 15 apps with 15 different blockchains that, or is there going to be a place like Robinhood where I can do exactly what you said?
See, now this is where being old, I've gone through the internet age. And so there was a time when there weren't cell phones, which, is when and there was a time when there wasn't the internet. So it was the same thing. There was, oh, what are we going to use the internet for? How are we going to use it and all the rest of it? I can't tell you exactly how that's going to happen, Ellis. I will tell you that the people that figure out how to make it easy and approachable, they're going to be the winners.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Let's be those
So,
guys,
so
can
I,
we?
I'm not going to make a prediction on, how it happens because I'm not really a technology guy, but I do know that there are people working on those solutions right now.
Yeah, that's excellent. So, Michael, let's go back, man. I want to know what it's like to be the first in this space. I mean, the first, the first triple net lease fund on the blockchain. I mean, hurdles. I mean, it just can't be easy. I know we talked back in when we met in Dallas, and there's something great about being the first. You're the first, but it's not always rainbows and butterflies, man.
Yeah, well,
I want to just hop into Michael. I think if you could probably tell it in like 2 minutes, just the inception of being the first with Liberty Fund, where the idea came from, because I mean it's a unique story, and you were kind of like, if these guys are doing that, why not us?
all right. Well, I'll say that I'll answer Alice's question first, which is pioneers get arrows in the back, and sometimes they get lost, and sometimes they end up, in the middle of a mountain pass and turning into cannibalism. Luckily, that didn't happen to us, but it's been a long, expensive road. There is so much promise with the technology, but with any new technology, and I've found this over the years, even implementing property management software and stuff like that. But it's like you buy the thing and they tell you that it's going to do something. And then once you actually get into the middle of it, I'm like, well, we want to do this. And, we need to take, IRA investor money and stuff like that. It's like, oh, it doesn't do that. I'm like, well, what do you mean it doesn't do that? Or conversely, we had a vision for, doing one thing, and there's certain legal things that come up. So when Adam's talking about the inception in 2017, there was all these ICOs, and the cryptocurrency market was going crazy, and valuations were going up. And an ICO is an initial coin offering. And so a lot of those initial coin offerings were just scams, and a lot of those initial coin offerings were people that had basically like a software project, and they were raising money for it. But it was just basically like a securities offering, that wasn't legal. So, but, they blew up. It was doing great. And I took a look at it. I'm like, these guys, it's like some of them are just like two guys, a website, and, an idea, and they're out there raising millions of dollars. And I'm like, and I also didn't quite understand Bitcoin as well as I do now. And so I just said, it's basically an algorithm. It's basically backed by math. So isn't this fiat currency? Why wouldn't you back it by real estate? So my goal was to create a real estate stablecoin. And a stablecoin is something that doesn't, gyrate up in value as much. It's something, and I also, one of the other things I wanted to create was the crypto at the time, and still Adam's going to argue with me about this, but crypto inherently doesn't create cash flow. But if you tie real estate to crypto or real estate to blockchain, you get crypto with cash flow. That's kind of, the inception. I will say that being the first, we spent a lot more in legal fees than I could ever imagine. And, really most people now, if they come to me, I would, help them out. It's like, you do this, 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 and this. But at the time, everything's new. And so things change. And then sometimes you've got, 5 attorneys on the call and a few different accountants on the call. And, they're all yakking about something. And I have to say, look, guys, this is like $6,000 an hour right here. Okay. So we're not like having a social club meeting. We need to like determine what we're going to do and then get off the phone.
Yeah, it's my money we're spending here.
Yeah. Well, and I point out, it's like, I'm the only guy on this call that's not making money right now.
So so let me just ask this question then, and I want to dive into that a little bit. I mean, if someone's listening to this, a syndicator or a fund manager, and they want to be early in this, I mean, maybe not say, hey, I'm, even our group, I don't know if we're quite ready to tokenize our deals, but what steps can we take now to prepare? Should we put this in our PPM? Like, what do you suggest, Michael, to accept, maybe kind of be ready for this?
Yeah, let's back up a little bit. So if you are a syndicator and you want to do a security token offering, which is different from an ICO, which is initial coin offering, you do a typical 506B or 506C or a Regulation A, or some of these things like the group that Adam was talking to, they're doing a Regulation CF, which is a regulation crowdfunding. So all of these, security token offerings fit into the legal framework that the SEC has put together since 1933. Okay. The next key point is that if you're doing a normal syndication, and you don't think your investors, or you don't think you're ready to do an initial, a security token offering, just get your attorney to write in, and there's specific language you need to do it, that you have the ability to convert it to tradable shares, in tokenized shares, and issue it to a blockchain. It's going to cost you a slight amount of money on the beginning, but then when all your investors in 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years, see, hey, look at all this cool stuff, why didn't you guys do this? You can just point to your documents and say, hey, by the way, we can issue as a blockchain. If you guys think that there's a real demand for that, we'll just issue this to blockchain, and then your shares are tradable.
Yeah.
And what Michael just outlined too was actually one of, if I had to pick, 3 key takeaways from the Blockchain Real Estate Summit that I heard over and over again, it's exactly what he just outlined. Is a lot of people who attended that had that exact same epiphany. I think we're going to start seeing that a lot more. And here we go, Michael. I'm going to do a shameless plug. We've got the Blockchain Real Estate Summit coming up in September.
Don't worry, we're going to plug it.
Cool. Yeah. So
no, those 3 takeaways. Give me those 3 takeaways, Adam. I want all 3. So one is go ahead and being early and putting that in your PPM.
Yeah. The other one is it's more of like a takeaway of being at that conference, but there were so many people who attended who had question marks. Like the average attendee was just a big fat question mark. What is this? How is this going to work? So it provided levels of clarity to reassure people who are already taking action in the space, and the people who are new to it to know, wow, like there is a playbook to this if you get connected to the right network.
Right.
And so we're really looking forward to doing that again next year. And then I'd say number 3, again, I'd say more comes to the individuals who are already in the space, already taking action, say like Michael and I and everyone at Liberty Fund and the other sponsors that we had there at the event. Their names are on the map now, and you can become, Ellis, like you're going to be very fast. I don't even need to tell you, but in doing this show, the next 3 to 5 years, maybe less, you'll be viewed as an expert in this space by taking action now.
Yeah, I'm no dummy. That's why this show is starting. I mean, I know I'm early. I'm like Michael in that, like maybe people won't listen to this show right away, but it will be the thing that everyone talks about in 2 years, and there aren't many people talking about it right now.
Yeah, and can I just follow up? And I'm not plugging the Blockchain Real Estate Summit, but I do want to explain how we came to that and said, this is something that we believe that there's a gap in knowledge, and so we said it's taken 3 years to figure out where we're at. So how can we compress those timeframes, and how can we speed up other people so that they can learn how to do it? So basically, what I did was I'm like, well, we'll start out with the accountants and the attorneys in the morning. Nobody wants to hear that anyway, but that's the absolute first thing you need to start with is your accountants, your attorneys. And then we went to, the people that were issuing things, And then we went to the passive investors, and we worked our way up to exchanges, ATSs, liquidity, and how all this stuff ends up trading and all the rest of it. So we tried to put together a program where somebody could go and have a start to see what the entire process is, how it flows. And then they're also connected with professionals that are actually doing it, and working on the technology, working on, and they've already figured out, the legal stuff, how it trades, and how you do get something to legally trade, all the securities laws involved with that.
I just got so many ideas flowing right now, guys. I'm just so thankful
He's gonna
to know
hit.
you.
He's gonna hit pause on the thing and write down his notes.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, you give me so many ideas. The entrepreneur in me is going nuts right now. I'm grateful for you guys. I love what you're doing for this space. Michael, seriously, the Liberty, your Liberty Fund. I mean, I want to first. There's two things I want to hear more with a little bit of time we have left. That also, let's actually tell people where to go for this blockchain summit, because we're doing it again. I say we because I'm going to be part of it somewhere or another. And then maybe
self-nominated
in between. So let's talk about the fund real quick, Michael and Adam.
And before I forget too, Michael, our listeners of the show, they can watch the replay. I think the replay is available for purchase from last year, correct? We have that up?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yes, we'll post those links in the show notes, Adam. If you'll send them to me, that'd be excellent.
Is out there. We're actually, for promoting 2022, we're going to start releasing, little tidbits of it. It is worth the price of admission to see Robert Helms interviewing Stefan Debates, because Stefan Debates took Aspen coin, which is Ritz-Carlton Aspen in Aspen, Colorado, issued it to the blockchain. It's trading. And then this guy went on to open up an exchange in Thailand and all the rest of it. So if I would have just paid, probably $50,000 to see, that conversation, because it was just brilliant. Stefan, operates hotels. Robert Helms of the real estate guys also has experience with hotels. So they just pulled out a bunch of stuff that I would never even, have thought to ask them. So,
and Michael, 2023, we're going international. Am I right?
We're working on, we've been contacted about doing another one for South America in Panama in first quarter of 2023. And we've also been contacted to add on to an existing blockchain summit, a day for real estate in Dubai.
Wow. I think Puerto Rico's next too. There's a lot of crypto guys down there that need to know about real estate, and I'd like to buy a house down there. So we need to add a couple tours, Michael.
All right. Well, just make sure that you make your house an opportunity zone, and then it's a tax write-off.
There you go. Listen, there's so many strategies here. So Liberty Token Fund. What's that? Where do we go for that?
LibertyFund.io. That's Liberty, then the word fund.io. And the really great thing about that is we've tried to be as educational as possible. So there's a bunch of different, there's a blockchain real estate report on there that we've, updated for 2022 with all the changes, a bunch of different articles. And if you are now investing in multifamily or single family or something like that, and you want to know a little bit about what a triple net lease is, or, why do they keep talking about triple net lease and all the rest of it? We have a bunch of information on what triple net leases are, how to invest in triple net leases. And Adam and I also co-host the Nothing But Net show, which is all about net lease properties.
Love it, guys. So I'm going to post here the blockchain real estate summit. We already have the link to that. Folks know that's going to be in Austin again. Michael, you think?
Yes, sir. It's we just signed the contract in the same place too.
Awesome. And in terms of before then, I mean, we talked about kind of you want to do a dozen meetups. What is that? Where can folks maybe go to get plugged into that who want to continue to follow along with this conversation?
There's a page on the blockchainsummit.com website, or if they're also looking for it, that's blockchainmeetup.com, and it'll have both of those. But the blockchainmeetup.com will go to the blockchain summit website.
Okay.
So either one.
All right. I'm just taking down notes here.
And
I'm sorry,
there's
blockchain it's blockchain real estate meetup. So I apologize.
Okay.
and we've got the Facebook group as well, which is tied to
Oh,
the
that's
conference. Dropped a link
That's
to that for everyone to join that. You'll just need to, I believe, apply to join or click join, and then we'll approve you on the.
Guys,
back
these
end.
are
the
great
one-
resources.
The one thing they can do is if they go to the Blockchain Real Estate Summit, they'll get on and sign up for our website. They'll get notices of all the meetings, all the summits, and everything else. And also, we're putting up new content on there, and so we'd be emailing out content on some of the things that are happening in the industry.
Guys, great takeaways. Really thankful for just the hard work. I mean, a lot of this is you're beating, tell the analogy, like when you get into real estate, at least that first year, be ready to just beat your head against the wall with no results. And you've been in this industry for 20 years and decided to do that all over again. So kudos to you, Michael, and attracting awesome guys like Adam to be a part of it. And so really grateful for you both. We've talked about the fund, the blockchain. What's the best place to follow you guys? Are you on Twitter yet? Like where's the go-to spot to follow Michael and Adam?
He's Mr. LinkedIn.
Yeah. Best way to get in touch with me, follow up with me, I'd recommend LinkedIn. And then from there we can open up and have a conversation. I'd love to meet you. Thank you for listening to Ellis's show, and keep hanging out here. It's only going to take you to the next level, as I'd like to say.
And with me, they can connect on LinkedIn, which is probably the preferred thing, but also Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Great.
And
all right, guys, I appreciate you, man. We're getting out of here.
Thanks, Alice.